Oasis have just released a live version of their classic song Slide Away from their first reunion show in Cardiff, Wales. What do I think of the track, and does this bode well for the rest of the Live 25 reunion tour? Let's find out. Hey everybody, it's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the channel. So this is kind of cool to see. Wasn't really expecting this, but Oasis have just released on streaming platforms a new live version of their classic song Slide Away, recorded live at their first reunion show that happened this past weekend at Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. Yeah, I wasn't really expecting Oasis to drop anything just yet of live tracks from the reunion shows, but here we are. They dropped it on streaming platforms. It was really, really cool to see, so I thought I would hop on here quick and give you my quick reaction. I really loved this live version of Slide Away from Cardiff. I thought this was a great recording, a great release from Oasis, obviously of a song that we know and love and have heard many times, but to hear them play it again for the first time in 16 years, very, very cool to hear. And you know, the first thing I have to say about this live version of Slide Away is that Liam Gallagher sounds great. He obviously, you know, he doesn't sound like he did back in the 1990s when he originally recorded this song, but this is some of his best live singing in a while, and he's really picked up his socks when it comes to his live performances, especially over the years doing his solo stuff. But you know what? You can tell that he's really putting the work and the passion in here. He's completing all of his phrases when he's singing. He's putting more energy into each line that he's doing. You know, he doesn't really sound winded. It doesn't sound like he's out of breath. He's not stepping off the mic when he's finishing phrases like he was known to do in the past. So you know what? I think this is a great test of his vocal ability, because Slide Away is not an easy tune to sing by any stretch. And while we're on the subject of vocals, I absolutely loved Noel Gallagher's background vocals on Slide Away. They blend perfectly with Liam's lead. Not really easy to sing either for Noel in this song, because the harmonies are super high throughout the majority of the track. And you know what? Noel Gallagher has gotten even stronger as a singer over his solo years, so it's no surprise that when it comes to the harmonies on Slide Away that he absolutely kills it. And it's just really, I got chills up my spine when I was hearing it, because it's just great to hear the Gallagher brothers singing together again in harmony. I miss it so much, and it sounds fantastic. And I absolutely love Liam singing the "Don't know, don't care, all I know is that you can take me there" line at the end of the song. That Noel is actually the one that usually sings that. I think he sings it in the studio. He sang it live for many, many years, so it was really, really cool to hear Liam singing that line, singing with such emotion and such feeling. He sounds great. And then when Noel Gallagher joins him in the background, singing it in unison with Liam Gallagher, it's just pure Gallagher brother magic. I absolutely loved it. And it was just cool to hear Oasis playing together again. I didn't realize how much I missed hearing these guys just play some songs, and they had that huge old school wall of sound Oasis guitar sound from the 1990s. And that might be because Bonehead is in the mix of this, because he's playing those much needed bar chords on every song with this wall of sound guitar tone that he's had for many, many years. But then Gem and Noel sound great too. You know, Noel hasn't lost his touch as a lead guitarist either. There's been, you know, talk over the years that he hasn't played as much lead when he was doing Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. You know, Gem was doing a lot of that for him as well. Paul Stacey was doing a lot of the leads. But you know what? Noel Gallagher can still solo with the best of them. Some fans were wondering if, you know, a 3-guitar lineup would work for this Oasis reunion. But you know what? I think it totally does, because we want that huge Oasis guitar sound, and it comes through on this live track. I will say though that I'm not totally sold on Joey Waronker's drumming on this song. It sounded kind of off to me. It didn't really sound like it had the energy that it needed. He will get better, I'm sure. But the playing kind of reminded me of Alan White's drumming for Oasis, more of that jazzy style with a lot of ghost notes and a lot of shuffling throughout a lot of the songs. Not a lot of steady beats, and I prefer more the straight ahead kind of more rock sound of drummers like Tony McCarroll, Zach Starkey, even Chris Sharrock had more of that feel to him. Some fans have complained about the drumming of Oasis at the show. Again, I'm just hearing it for this one sample size on this one track, but it's hard for me just to get a complete picture just about what's going on with one song. You know what? Joey held it down. He didn't sound all that bad, but it didn't quite click for me. And I love the crowd noise noise at the beginning of this track. It shows just how crazy the crowd was going for the band at the first show in Cardiff. It was a very special night. This was the absolute first show of the Oasis Live 25 reunion tour. So when Noel hits the first lines of Slide Away and the crowd goes nuts, it was awesome. It was rightfully so. It's an amazing song. If I was in the crowd, and I'm going to be in the crowd for the show in Toronto in August, I'm going to be going crazy for Slide Away too. And as I said at the top of the video, I wasn't really expecting the band to release a live version from the reunion shows this quickly into the proceedings. We've only had 2 shows, but you know, I like this. I think it's the closest we've got to new Oasis music, even though it's old Oasis music. It's just really cool for those of us who weren't in the room for the first reunion shows in Cardiff to hear what it sounded like and hear a live version of Slide Away that I think is absolutely incredible. And I think the band sounds great. And so I hope they keep releasing these live versions throughout the course of the tour because it's just a great way to keep us fans engaged. But the fun continues because Oasis is going to be playing the first of 5 shows in their hometown of Manchester at Heaton Park coming up on July the 11th. That's on Friday, July the 11th. That's their first of 5 shows in Manchester. So that's going to be really exciting. We'll be talking about that on the channel here. They just announced the 30th deluxe edition, 30th anniversary deluxe edition of Morning Glory, which is coming out in October. They just announced a complete albums box set that's coming out on CD and vinyl. And then, of course, many more live shows to come. So, yeah, let me know in the comments below. What did you think of this live version of Slide Away? Do you think it bodes well for the future of the tour? I think it does. I think the band sounds fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to seeing them in Toronto, and I think it bodes very well for the future of this tour and for the life of this tour. So really looking forward to it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing here and you want to talk more Oasis, and follow me on social media across platforms at Nick Chino Music. But I'll see you guys again for another video here on the channel. Until then, rock on, everybody.